Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, yesterday I didn't touch a model. Well, I think I physically touched that one to move it out of the way of my desk, but I didn't do any work on any RC models at all. So, what did I end up doing instead? Where's the pictures? I chopped some wood instead, about a ton. And that's about 3 layers deep of wood as well. So it's winter here and we didn't have any wood chopped, so finally got around to do it. And me and John, we mullered whatever we had left and got it chopped up. So yeah, no RC modelling per se yesterday, but with that said, I want to say a big thank you. I believe you pronounce his name as Rüdiger. And he popped a battery in his scythe for me. Now, those of you who do not know Stick Mix, he is actually the chap who named the Flite Test Spear. So, Rüdiger, thank you ever so much for that. I really did appreciate that. That was really, really cool. Thank you, fella. I sat there in bed last night and watched the flight. Yeah, you caned that one. Good boy. Good boy. Right, next topic. Oh, sorry, I should have done the topics first. Right, so I had no model time yesterday, and Rüdiger had popped an episode up for me, and I put a link to that in the video description. The 4S race flight is now live. Oh, we also had I attended the first club AGM meeting I've ever been to for a model flying club. That was very curious. We'll get to that in a moment. Oh, the Night Eagle as well, and I also have a forewarning for you too. So, yeah, as we just heard, I didn't have any time yesterday. We were too busy chopping firewood. We did it till it got dark and then did some more. So, yeah, it was a busy day yesterday, but nothing RC model related. And a big hat tip to Rüdiger for chucking that episode up for me as well. Really appreciate it, fella. And like I said, we had this is the chap who actually named the Flite Test Spear. So, I don't know if you remember that episode with the other Josh going through and getting his bagel delivery. No, it wasn't bagel delivery, it was a burrito delivery. The chap whose name was picked for the big Flite Test flying wing was Rüdiger. So happy days. I'll put a link to that episode in the video description for you too as well. The 4S race flight with the micro SkyHunter is now live. I'm not too sure if you've seen it yet. But do listen out to the throttle action on there. That was full up throttle for the vast majority of it, until I lost Dave for a moment. I should have just carried on, to be frankly honest. And also on that topic, Dave did also pop up from his point of view for the 4S race. It was kind of cool because you've got to admit, this model is only this big, and the SkyFun is got far much more wing space on it and has a far bigger and superior motor to that little thing, and you've got to, I think I made Dave sweat for a bit, but to be honest, he was only really using about 75% throttle, so was able to catch up with me, and that is something which I will correct in the future, although Dave is trying to say that he's going to retire like Rosberg. We'll see. Well, I'll egg him on the flight line as much as I can for it. Oh, and also I was wrong yesterday. Dave didn't have a Eagle Tree Vector in his SkyFun. It was a different on-screen display, and that's how we knew what the max speed was as well. So apologies for that, Dave, on there. Let's have a look on there. Comments episode. Oh yeah, thank you to all your comments on that episode. Actually, on yesterday's coffee morning. There was a little note which actually stuck in my mind. What I'm actually going to do with with these tail booms, because I believe they're carbon, kind of looks like carbon fibre, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put a mechanical fixing through the foam and through the carbon spar this end on all 4 corners, and the reason for that, it will be a carbon fibre rod which goes through, and then I've got a mechanical fixing, because if I'm going to take this now to the absolute extremes, I am actually a little bit concerned about blowing off the tail boom at the back. So I will be putting a mechanical fixing through the actual carbon spars just to ensure that it does stay put, or it makes it very, very hard for the tail boom to blow off. Okay, so that's just one of those considerations which you kind of need to have in the back of your mind, is that if you are going to overpower a model, can the airframe cope with it, and is anything daft going to happen? And I always say this, and I picked this up from 7Demo7 on YouTube, which is that he said, I would hate for a model to come out of the sky because of my own stupidity. And that would be, I'm aware of it now, so I need to go and get it done. And I think that would work really, really well, just as an extra mechanical fixing to hold these pieces on. When we received the kit, these parts were actually all pre-built, so I'm actually flying with somebody else's gluing, which I'm never a big fan of. I know that if I use the glues which I use, they ain't never going to come off. So, yeah. So thank you for your comments on that yesterday. What's our next topic? Let me go back a tab. I went to the first club AGM meeting. So I don't know if you know this, is that I only started in about March of this year flying RC models, and I've had one hell of a ride. I do have specific plans for the future of just getting my skills way beyond where they are right now, which is actually worth a note. So I'm going to pop that on the end, flight plan on the end of that, on my end of my notes, because I feel that's important to mention as well. So the AGM meeting was really, really curious because it had for me, very interesting dynamics. Now, I'm sure for more seasoned modelers out there, you've been to several or many AGMs. Some of you may even be members of a committee. But for me, this was very, very curious because it's the purpose of the committee to guide the members, but ultimately the members agree to the committee. The members, it's their club, and the committee is there to guide the members, but nothing happens unless the members agree with it, which is very, very interesting dynamics. Coming from a whole different perspective as a business owner, I'm frankly used to either a dictatorship or a partnered dictatorship, which is the very easiest way of explaining it, which is either you're the boss or you have a partner which you work with. So the dynamics are very, very clear. If me and Dave decide to go and do something, then we're going to go and do something, no questions asked. I would also like to make the point now, we did have the whole team revolt against me last year, I think, where I wanted to go and do something and they told me, no, Matt, you've put this process into place and this is the process which we're going to be using. That was a good day, that was, for the whole team to revolt with me. It was very cool. Anyway, very, very interesting. Very different. I found it very curious just to hear the dynamics and see how the mechanics actually worked in real life. I found it absolutely fascinating. Now, I have another AGM meeting to go to today or this afternoon for a different model flying club, and I'm learning about this hobby not only in the build, in creating video content, but also in the flying, which you see on the channel. But I'm also learning this other side, which is to RC modeling, which is the actual club dynamics and how those work and how the committee works and things like that. So, and by the way, I never went to business school or anything like that. Most of it I've just kind of worked out myself and gone from there. So yeah, very, very curious to see that firsthand. So if you have the opportunity to go to your club's AGM meeting, do go. Even if it's just to see how the dynamics between the committee and the members work. I personally found that absolutely fascinating. I genuinely did find that really fascinating. I was sat there and as you can tell, I talk a lot. And there was when I went to a few moments where I had to chip in my piece because of specific club dynamics, but it was so curious. So if you've never been to your club's AGM meeting, you should definitely go just to see how the dynamics work. So, absolutely. So, very, very cool. So, I didn't do any modeling per se, but we went to the AGM, which is, I thought it was really cool. And next up, we got on here, Flight Pan. Now, one of the club members basically won every competition which they had been in this year. which Shelley is just an unbelievable pilot. And I've seen her fly so many times before, and it's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. So I grabbed Shelley and we had a chat to one side, and she's given me a big challenge to get to, and also a flight path for me to follow. And I don't mind sharing this one with you, because if you can learn from this as well, because it's what I would like to do in this new year is to really take my flying skills to a whole new level. And it's one thing absolutely spanking a model around via FPV. That is just unbelievably good fun, and it does take quite a bit of skill there, and I've taken my time to get myself to that level. But like I said in a previous coffee morning, I would really like to take my flying skills to a whole new level and get some precision work into place. And 3D is going to be some fun, but that generally is just spank it around and have a good laugh, which is kind of like my flying style. So I'm kind of sold on that, and I really like to be able to do a rolling loop in both directions. That's one of my big challenges for the new year, is to be able to lick that, and I will get quite a lot of simulator time in there to be able to get to a level where I can actually do it on the flight line. But the other one is that I'd like to try and do some precision work as well. So what Shelley suggested me to do was to, and I'm going to draw this, I don't know how well this is going to come out on the webcam, but you'll kind of get the idea. So we'll get a straight flight path all the way across the flight line. So not, you know what I mean, across in the air, maintaining a single height. So come up and then do a stall turn and then come back down again. So then come back at the same height, and this is the trick, well, this is the key piece, is trying to keep all your heights the same as you go through. So come up, still turn, come back down, and then keeping that so you enter back on the line which you and come back in on the line which you exited to go up on. Come past the halfway point and then a little bit more, and then go 45 degrees upwards, roll, and then at the top of the roll, let the model come back round, and then come back in again, and then do the same again. And then, of course, you can then switch sides and things like that, obviously depending on wind direction. And that's the challenge which I need to get myself to. And the key challenge here is the wings need to stay straight. Well, obviously not in the roll and the stall turn, but for every time where the model is flying straight, is the no aileron input. So it's going to all be rudder input to maintain the models, to keep them the actual wings level all the way through. Now, for me, that means using, and that does for the vast majority of it, we mean using the rudder to correct any movements of the actual model itself. And this is where it gets really, really curious, trying to stick to a predefined pattern, and that's the pattern which Shelley has been giving me to do. Also, it's kind of just like chuck down the glove as a gauntlet, is to be able to do 3 loops of equal height, equal distance, and keeping the wings flat for every single loop. When she says that she's probably the only person in the club which can do it, I totally agree with her. She probably is the only person in the club which can do it. So that's also, come on, it can't be that hard, can it? Screw it, let's go and give it a whirl. So you might see me in New Year start doing some more patterns, and if you start seeing me doing repetitive moves, or basically going up, stall turn, coming back round 45 degrees, invert, then roll back round the other side. If you start seeing me doing that routine a lot, you will now understand why. So I'm really, really curious on this one, but I will get some simulator time in to do that. And the only way which I feel that I can do this and get as much airtime as possible is to actually use the simulator. So that means I can be sat in here with my cup of coffee, spank it around on the screen, and just get the basics into place, so that when I do hit the flight line, I've got a very, very good idea. And it's all of this modeling luck is, for me, it's just like muscle memory, isn't it? The more you do it, the more comfortable you become. So my first flight trying to do this is going to be horrific. I'm going to screw up every maneuver. I'm going to end up there. It's not going to be a stall turn. I'll bring it back down and then come down too low, might even stuff it in the ground. Then I'll come across and then I'll probably go up at like 50 degrees or something more than that. And then my loop, or the half loop at the other end will just be horrific and I'll go completely muller it. But that's the thing, is you just keep going at it. You just keep going at it until you've got the muscle memory in your thumbs so that you can react to what you've got going on in the sky, and it becomes instinct. And the only way I feel that I can do that, and it's probably the same for you, is just airtime. And that airtime can be in a simulator, but it can also be on the flight line too, if that makes sense. Right, 2 more topics and then I'm legging it. The first one is the RunCam Night Eagle. So Bruce put this up last night, which, and I'll put a link to this in the video description. I'm sure many of you have already seen it. This is for the people who have not seen it. That's the night sky, and that's what Bruce flew in, his quad in. And I am just going to, well, you probably can't see it because my head's in the way in the bottom right-hand corner. But basically, the bit which sold it for me, which was Bruce has the confidence to fly between that tree, and that was it. I kind of like paused it and just went off and went and bought one because that was absolutely unreal. To have the confidence to fly in that light conditions and do that, basically proximity flying, was unreal. Absolutely unreal. So I now have a RunCam Night Eagle on the way to me because that is just frankly bonkers. Absolute bonkers. And it gets dark stupidly early here now, and if that means that I can have some extra flight time, that's happy days. Now there are a few negatives. Well, there is one major negative, which with the RunCam Night Eagle is that it's black and white all of the time. That's the only negative for it, but you can fly in that darkness and darker and still see where you're going. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, I'll put a link to Bruce's episode in the video description. Now, the final topic for this morning is just a forewarning. Yesterday, I was busy all day. Then we went out in the evening for the AGM. So I have done absolutely no video editing at all. So what I'm actually going to leave you with is that if you go and check out the channel, is to basically go and click on this videos tab at the top and scroll down, and at the bottom there's a load more button. Keep hitting load more and there is an epic amount of video episodes available. There's something over 400 of them now, and also if you check the playlist tab, yeah, have a nose around. One of my favourite episodes, where is it? I'm just trying to find the playlist. It's the FX61. Sorry, FX. No, FX, that's the wrong one. Where's the other one? Okay, if you look up the Flybear FX818 Park Flyer, I bought that one quite a while ago, and it does get flown most days. Now, when you see the model, you'll go, Matt, why are you flying this model? The thing is that I can fly it at home, and I do fly it at home off the roof. So that's one of my favourite playlists on probably one of the most boringest models which I own, from your point of perspective, and it only really does fly in 0 wind days, but I've had so much fun with that. In fact, I probably should do some more episodes with it. It is really good fun model to fly, and also very tricky as well because it's got directional. It's got the directional thrust. You've got no movable surfaces. The reason why it turns is that one motor comes on more than the other, and to go one direction in the other. It's very curious to fly, to say the least, and it has quite a lot of lag time. It's like flying a glider with a very ineffective rudder. It's probably the best explanation of it. But I've had really, really good fun with that. So yeah, if you want to laugh, go and look up the FX61 on the channel, and that's really, really good fun. And by the way, if you dig back through the older episodes, you will find some of my very first flights with an AXN on there. It's me and my daughter up on the flight line after having a horrific first flight in a flying club because the ESC which PLA King provided with the AXN was wholly inadequate, and then the surfaces would just lock out and we had to unscheduled landings. Is that I swapped that over, then my whole view, that you've heard me mention this one before, is just screw it, let's just go and do it, because it can't be that hard, can it? And then we went out there and I had, I don't know, 15 minutes worth of flight time with the AXN. Just straightforward as that. I didn't see it as being that hard, and loved it. And again, what did the model cost me? Like 45 quid? It didn't matter. Look, if it broke in or went in or rolled or we broke a wing off or even worse, it just didn't matter. It was just, I just knew at the beginning the only difference between me as somebody learning to fly to the most experienced pilot, say for example Shelley from the Model Flying Club, the only difference between me and her was straightforward airtime. Somebody has had a lot more airtime than me. That's why they are really, really good. So what do I need to get? More airtime. It was straightforward as that. So coming back onto the topic, do have a scroll through. There's like 400 episodes for you to fill your boots in. Whether you like mail opening episodes, if you want some tips. There is, goodness knows, over 60 RC coffee chats. Hey, look, if you want to laugh, go back to number 1 and have a laugh at number 1. So, there you go. So, I'm off now. My coffee's almost gone. It's getting pretty cold now. If you're out flying today, have a fantastic day's flying. And if you're like me, which you've got to go on and work today, hey ho, at least it pays for more models. Yay! So, on that note, from myself, Matt, have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow. Cheerios!